Today, I want to talk about how we're going to fire our bosses. We're going to kick them to the curb. We're going to tell them bye bye. All right, so I showed you all of the degrees that I hold, and I acquired those degrees in order to impress bosses, in order to get the job, in order to get that higher pay. But today I'm talking about ways to fire my boss. So I am legitimately giving you the 5 strategies that I'm going to use in order to fire my boss. Okay? So let's jump into it. Now, even though tip number 1 is, I feel like, the most important, they are all very important. Every tip that I'm going to give you today is very important, is crucial for being able to fire your boss. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be 5 years from now. I'm not sure if that's going to be 10 years from now, but I know that we want it to be eventually, right? We want to eventually say goodbye to each and every one of our bosses. So these are the strategies that I am legitimately taking in order to get to that route or to that path. Number one, number one, okay? Very important. I think it's the most important, but they're all important. Invest as early and as often as you can. Investing is going to be the vehicle where you are saving and taking that money that you've saved and allowing it to grow and to snowball and to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Only when you invest will you be able to truly, truly, truly fire your boss, because that's going to be your nest egg. That is where you are pulling your money from when you get to the point of firing your bosses. You're going to tap into that and use that for your living expenses. But you have to have something to tap into. And if we're not accumulating money, then we will never be able to do that. So we're doing more than just saving here, okay? Saving, you put your money, let's say, into a bank, and then it grows very, very little, very, very little. However, if you are investing your money into something, then it can have the potential to grow about 10% in the stock market every year, right? So, what we want to do is make sure that we are investing, not saving, investing, not saving. You have to be able to save something in order to be able to invest it, though, right? You're not spending every single thing that comes in. But so many of us are so scared to invest our money. And I keep saying stock market because that is how I invest my money. But so many people invest their monies in so many different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be the stock market. There are some things like real estate where people invest their money in. They invest their money in crypto, even though I think that that's too volatile for me. But some people have become rich off that type of stuff. That's not for me, but other people have. Whatever you trust in, whatever you believe in, whatever you think is going to grow your money over time, that is what you should be investing in. I do not just save money. That there's no point to just saving money, because you're not going to be able to save enough in order to fire your boss or be able to retire. You can't save your way to retirement. You literally have to invest your way to retirement. Now, when I said save at the beginning, I mean you have to have something saved in order to invest it. That's the step 1 to investing. You have to save, because you have to have something saved in order to invest it. If you don't have anything saved in order to invest it, then you don't have nothing. So then tip number 1 is invest as early and as often as you can. That's the only way that you're going to get to the point where you could say bye-bye. Number two is pay off all of your debt. Every single debt that you have, including your house. When you go into retirement, you want to go in with no debt, absolutely none, zero, zilch, nada, right? You want to be able to have all of the income come unto you and you not have to give it out to anybody else. Of course, you'll always have to pay your taxes. Of course, you'll be paying for your utilities, but that living is so much less expensive than if you had car payments, even if you had a mortgage. So let's get rid of all of our debt as we enter into our retirement phase, because we don't want to have to shell anything out. We don't want to have to give anything to anybody. And the only way we can do that is to, number one, not acquire debt. Make sure that we're using cash for each and everything. Or number two, make sure that we're paying everything off before we get to that point. So how are you paying everything off? You can pay everything off by, first and foremost, having a budget. You need a plan in order to pay anything off. And once you have that plan in place, I hope that that plan includes a line item for the extra funds that you will be putting towards debt. You never, never, never want to pay the minimum balance on any debt, because you will get nowhere very fast. You want to make sure that you're doubling and tripling that payment for that debt, or putting as much as you possibly can on it, because that's the only way you want to do it. And if you have like you're saying, you have very little left over at the end of the month, or you have very little to put towards debt, then you need to do something else. You need to have a side hustle. You need to have some type of side job, part-time job, something that you're doing to be able to put more toward your debt. My only debt right now, and I pray forever, not forever, but until I pay it off, is my mortgage. And I am putting more, as much as I can, on it every single month in order to get that thing down. I'm paying off my debt or paying in my mortgage in full 10 months earlier than I'm actually supposed to. And I've only been in my house a little bit over a year. So what I've been doing is putting in money. And my statement tells me, hey, you're going to pay your mortgage off 10 months early so far. And I've only been here a year. So the goal is to always be putting extra. And I'm not even being as aggressive as I can, because I'm trying to be aggressive with my investments. So I'm actually planning to be a little bit more aggressive with that, because I feel like I could do better in that area. I'm trying to get rid of the mortgage, because who wants any debt attached to their name? I don't. You want those payments free. You don't want to keep paying all of that money into that debt and paying the interest on top of it. It's crazy. We're in crazy land when we doing that. We're just in crazy land when we're paying extra on the money that we borrowed. No, we're not. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing with credit cards. That's not what I'm doing with a mortgage. That's not what I'm doing with a car payment. That's not what I'm doing ever. So I'm trying to get this mortgage out my life. And so putting more and more and more and more on that mortgage is the key to success. People always have these tricks about how you can pay off your debt, but literally or get rid of your debt. They have tricks on how you can get rid of your debt, but really the only trick to paying off, to getting rid of your debt, is paying it off. The only trick to getting rid of your debt is paying off. Ain't no trick. It's nothing you can do. You can pay extra payments. Literally, that's the secret. And so that is my goal, especially on my only debt right now, which is my home. All right, the next tip is keep all of your expenses low. Keep all of your expenses low as you can. I got a water payment or water bill the other day I'm like, what even happened? I was paying $20 a month for my bill. Now we up to $100. I had to call them and be like, what are we doing? What are we doing? How is my water bill like 5x? Now I know why some of it's increasing. It's because I got extra payment plans to protect like my water lines and have people come out for any of my plumbing needs if I should need it. So I know I got extra insurances on it, but literally the answer is no. We're not doing all that. So they're coming out to check my meter to see what's going on, because we're not using all of that water. So we need to check to see what's going on. So I'm trying to keep my expenses low. The goal is to live on as less as we can so that we can have the money freed up, ideally in order to invest it, or just to have extra money. You want that money free and clear, because it will be easier for us in the long run. Our expenses will be less. Same thing with these outrageous cable bills. I cut my cable like 10 years ago, no lie. Like 10 years ago, before streaming was a thing, I cut that cable bill because I said, this is ridiculous. I'm never going to pay this price for some TV. I'm never going to pay this price to watch TV. People thought I was crazy. People called me cheap. So what? So what? These are the same people with $200 and $250 cable bills. That will never be me. That will never be me. So the goal is to live on, of course, way less than what we make. Way less, way less, way less. And the way to do that is to just always be monitoring your expenses, how much your bills are as they come in. Make sure that we are going to the competitor if they're cheaper. We have to always be on that. Of course, I also cut my cell phone provider a long time ago. It was Verizon. Just for me, the bill was insane, like over $100, probably $120 for one line. And I said, absolutely no, we're not doing that. No, we're not. Now I have 3 lines on a bill, and that's $90 a month. So we have to cut these people out of our lives who can continuously upcharge us, overcharge us, oversell us, because no, we're not. We have to keep our expenses low. All right, so the fourth thing is watch your purchases. Make sure that we know the difference between what we need and what we want. We have to know the differences between what we need and what we want. We always purchase our needs, and we very frequently purchase our wants. And I know sometimes we always want what we want, and we want it now, and we feel like we work so hard all the time in order to get that. And I believe that. I do believe that we work so hard. I believe that you work hard. I believe that I work hard. But that doesn't mean that we can always get what we want, because life doesn't work like that. Now, you have to decide, what type of life do you want, right? You have to choose your heart. Do you want to feel as if you are not getting what you want and experience some delayed gratification for a moment? Or do you want your bills to be hard to pay? Which one? Which one are you going to choose? Which one is your heart? Okay? You don't get that dress, you don't get those shoes, you don't get that purse. Okay, that may be hard in the moment. Or is it going to be harder to pay that credit card bill when it comes in? We have to choose our heart. And I'm going to tell you something. If you walk away from that purse in the moment, in a month, you're not even going to want it anymore. You're literally not even going to want it anymore. You have to choose your heart. And I'm telling you, I choose my heart each and every day. And my heart is not going to be paying my bills. That ain't going to be hard for me. It might be hard for me to walk away from something that I want for a second, but I always get over it. That's the funny part. Like, then you look back and you be like, wait, what did I want? You don't even remember. And most times, I don't even want anything. I don't even want these things out here. I literally don't want them. Things are so expensive these days. It's just not for me. Like, I don't continuously want. And because I don't, my kids don't. They literally don't ask for that much. They don't. Because we have all of our needs met. And because of that, we have a comfortable life in and of itself, because our needs are met. And we just don't always want. And I'm grateful for that. And the last thing is of importance to me, and that is to keep your health. The only way that we're going to fire our boss, and it really matters, is to keep our health, our strength. So do whatever you need to do to eat right, to get some exercise in, and to just make sure you're good. Go on your regular checkups, do your regular screenings, do everything that you need to do in terms of preventative health in order to make sure that you are good. Because it's not going to matter going into retirement, firing your boss. None of that is going to matter if you are sick. None of that is going to matter if you are unhealthy. So please tend to yourself, tend to your needs in that way, and do everything that you can to be strong, to be healthy. Not only that, on the flip side is, if you are not, the bills that you're going to have to pay are going to be extensive. So you do not want to be paying all of this money for health care or for prescription drugs or for continuously going back and forth to the doctor. That stuff adds up. These surgeries, all of this stuff adds up, when you could have been mindful of the food that you've been eating and have been mindful of the exercise that you need, and just been mindful of your overall health. Like, let's get outside. Let's breathe that fresh air. Let's not smoke. I don't even know who's doing that anymore. Like, that's one of the most disgusting things ever. Like, who's still doing that? If you're still doing that, stop. If you're a millennial and you're doing that, what's wrong with you? Like, they told us a long time ago, just say no. So just please say no. It's disgusting. We ain't doing that no more. All right? So please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Please share this video with any and everybody who is excited about firing their boss, or who one day wants to be able to retire, even at 65. You're going to need these tips. So please, again, subscribe, like the video, and share it with a friend.